I just want to congratulate you on being the first astronaut to sing in space for real.
Thanks, Jeff. It was one small step for women, one giant leap for my lifetime's tour.
Katy Perry jumped out of the aircraft and kissed the ground in a painfully cringe moment that has been roasted online.
Well, it was very profound. I don't know if you've seen Katy Perry talk about it, but she's basically a guru now.
And think about how many resources went into putting these women into space. For what? I'm disgusted, literally.
Katy Perry thought she was making history, and in some ways, she was.
By the way, it's Captain Perry now. I know you're just a simple businessman, but I went to space for real. That makes me Space Captain Perry.
6 women just did the same flight that... Yeah. Keep doing it. I just want to keep hugging you.
Lots of other people in the media were embarrassing themselves during this ordeal. Oprah Winfrey actually wept as she watched the all-female team launch into space.
Her trip aboard Blue Origin's suborbital flight was supposed to be empowering, futuristic, even spiritual. A bold move for a pop legend transitioning into a new chapter of her public life.
I hope they can see the unity that we modeled and replicate that and understand that we weren't just taking up space, we were making space.
The crew who flew in space this week on an automated flight by Blue Origin were glam. But you cannot identify as an astronaut.
Look at us, we're very wealthy. Don't we look great? Admire us.
But within hours of landing, the entire tone shifted. Her moment of triumph had already become a punchline.
I'm going to tell you something right now. You are officially an astronaut.
Thank you so much.
How do you feel?
I feel super connected to love.
Whoever came up with this title, give this guy a freaking raise. Tell me how this is not awesome. Astronaut.
I'm much better now that the ladies are back from space.
What were they up there, 10 minutes?
Let's not minimize this. Let's celebrate female astronauts.
That's the other thing. There has been female astronauts.
Let's not minimize this.
Clips of Katy floating in zero gravity were edited into meme compilations. TikTok was flooded with fake pop star in space trailers. And then, like clockwork, South Park entered the chat.
You look ridiculous. Everybody looks ridiculous. This isn't a moment for feminism. That's a dick rocket that was designed, flown, and paid for by men, and you are simply baggage on that rocket. That's all it is.
Astronaut conspiracy theories swirl about Katy Perry's fake Blue Origin space mission.
Their episode dropped just 10 days after her return, and it didn't hold back. In typical South Park fashion, they mocked everything from her look at me post-launch interviews to her tearful view of Earth changed my life. Quote, they portrayed her as an out-of-touch celebrity desperately trying to escape criticism by literally leaving the planet.
Just show the legendary landing real quick, Rob. This is such a beautiful moment. This may be greater than us landing. Look at it. Look at the way it lands to the ground. None of them break their backs. Look at it. Watch. Wow.
Southwest Airlines lands just like that.
It's a freaking music. It's awesome.
Woman went to space for like 4 minutes. What is she kissing the ground for? Pointing up at the sky.
Katy! Woo!
And to the guy, woo, Katy, yeah. Dumb, bro.
It was fast, it was brutal, and it left Katy stunned. Not just because it was savage, but because it felt calculated.
The worst part is when there's
People starving in other countries and we're clapping and cheering. Like, bro, this is wild. And then Katy Perry steps out, starts kissing the ground. Bro, the stories write themselves. Like, we are living in a Black Mirror episode. Like, what is this, bro?
Yeah. Which one is this, Rob? Tell us.
This is the door being opened from the inside.
Watch this.
What's gonna come out of
They're not supposed to open the door yet.
her
Look, they're like, close the door!
No, not yet. Jeff Bezos out there right by the capsule? Kind of hard to see. That is
I have to
correct.
pee.
That is Jeff Bezos, our founder.
He has to step up with the official doohickey thing.
Unlike many celebs who clap back on social media or laugh it off in interviews, Katy took a different route. She got her legal team involved. Insiders close to the situation claim Katy was furious over the episode, not just because it was mean, but because it painted her space flight, something deeply personal to her, as a vanity stunt for clout. According to sources, she felt it crossed a line, dragging her for emotional manipulation, implying the flight was some desperate career stunt. and even mocking her environmental causes. Her reps allegedly reached out to South Park's parent network with a formal complaint, and the next day, lawyers started calling. What started as internet jokes had now escalated into a potential lawsuit. Something South Park rarely, if ever, backs down from, and if Katy thought this would shut them up, she might have just poked the wrong bear.
I'm going to tell you something right now. You are officially an astronaut.
Bro.
Stop the cap. Stupid.
Let me tell you right now, Katy, you're officially an astronaut.
I guess I'm a freaking brain surgeon then. I couldn't believe, wow. I can't believe she even said, how do you even format your lips to say something so stupid?
To be fair, Katy's no stranger to controversy. She's fought lawsuits over music plagiarism, defended herself against religious backlash, and pushed back on industry critics her entire career. But this is different, because South Park doesn't just roast people, they embed it into pop culture. Their parodies become permanent. You don't outrun them. You don't explain them away. Once you're a South Park character, it sticks. And for Katy, who's been working quietly for years to rebuild her brand, post-Witness, post-American Idol, post-flop accusations, this could undo all that. Be honest, if you were in Katy's shoes, would you sue? Or would you laugh it off and prove them wrong with your next move? Let me know in the comments. I want to know whose team fight back and whose team let it go.
I'm going to tell you something right now. You are officially an astronaut.
Thank you so much.
How do you feel?
I feel super connected to love.
This is so tough.
However, there's been some critics saying some stuff in it.
Really?
Rob, I don't know if you have any of the critic stuff or not. Do you have any of the stuff on how they open a door first and then they have to reopen the door and they have to say, go back in there, and then Jeff Bezos falls. Poor guy's tripping. He's having a hard time.
What Katy may not have expected is just how fast South Park's team lawyered up too. Sources say Trey Parker and Matt Stone didn't just brush this off. They were ready. They've been here before. They've fought off bigger names, harsher, lawsuits, and even real-world censorship attempts. And this time, they reportedly see Katy's legal action as an attack on satire itself, something they've built an entire empire defending. Rumors are flying that South Park isn't just preparing a legal defense. They're preparing to mock her again, a follow-up episode, a savage online short, something even nastier, the kind of thing that forces everyone to ask, was this all really worth it? Katy Perry may have launched into space, but on Earth, she just stepped into a war zone.
I gotcha. Oh, the moon! You guys, I will have to tell you, look at the moon.
Doing a whole bunch of nothing.
Watching her
Look, I brought my little butterfly.
After the initial legal outreach, Katy's reps weren't just looking for an apology, they were looking for grounds. Behind closed doors, sources say her legal team began building a case, combing through the episode, documenting quotes, identifying moments they believed crossed into defamation, emotional damage, and even likeness misrepresentation. The argument? That South Park didn't just parody Katy, they targeted her. That it wasn't commentary, it was a smear campaign disguised as satire, intentionally designed to humiliate her, discredit her Blue Origin flight, and paint her as the poster girl for out-of-touch celebrity privilege. Katy reportedly felt deeply betrayed, not just by the media, but by the cultural moment. Something she saw as profound and personally transformative was reduced to a joke, and a mean one at that. For her team, the message was clear. If they can mock this, they can mock anything, and we can't let that slide.
Rob, what else you got? Because there's a bunch of them.
I have Gayle King claiming that it was sexist.
Go ahead and play this clip. Go ahead, Rob.
I don't like that people are calling it a ride. A ride, you know, you never see a male astronaut who's going up in space and they said, oh, he took a ride. We actually duplicated the route that Alan Shepard did. That's why it's called, this particular capsule is called the New Shepard. We duplicated that route. No one said he took that ride. Yeah. It's always referred to as a flight or a journey. So I feel that that's a little disrespectful to what the mission was and what the work that Blue Origin
was. They went on
space technology.
But on the other side of this legal chessboard, South Park wasn't sweating. According to industry insiders, Matt Stone and Trey Parker didn't just view the lawsuit as unwinnable for Katy. They saw it as an opportunity, an opening. One source close to the show said they're not just preparing a legal defense, they're preparing a counterattack in episode form. Because here's the thing about South Park. When someone sues them or threatens them publicly, they don't back off. They get meaner. They get smarter. They get ruthless. If Katy Perry's team keeps pushing, the world may see a follow-up episode. One that digs even deeper, mocks the legal drama itself, and possibly even parodies her legal team as clueless. Space cadets trying to sue comedy out of existence. And honestly, it's a risk Katy can't afford.
Look, I understand that it started a lot of conversations, and he was one of many collaborators that I collaborated with.
While this fight brews, Hollywood is watching closely. Producers, brands, award committees. Everyone is trying to figure out one thing. Is this about integrity, or is this a diva meltdown? Because the line between protecting your legacy and overreacting under pressure is razor thin in this business. And when public perception starts shifting, the industry moves fast. Sources say some agencies are already uncomfortable. One high-level brand reportedly paused talks on a future campaign with Katy, citing cultural sensitivity concerns. Translation, they don't want to get dragged in or associated with someone feuding with a satirical institution. And let's be real, this isn't just about lawsuits. This is about narrative control. And Katy's grip on hers is slipping. If your public image was spiraling and the whole industry was watching, would you keep fighting to prove your point or cut your losses to protect what's left? Drop your answer below, because this moment could define Katy's entire career pivot.
I gotcha.
The harshest part of this entire mess isn't the lawsuit, it's the echo. South Park's joke that Katy's spaceflight was a desperate PR grab hit a nerve for a reason. Because people were already saying it quietly, that the flight felt performative, that the timing was weird, that it didn't resonate the way she wanted it to. The show didn't invent the criticism. It amplified it. And that's why it's so dangerous, because South Park might have just said what people were already whispering. If this lawsuit continues, and Katy's team tries to deny or downplay it all in court, they might accidentally confirm that they're out of touch, that they don't get the joke. And once the public decides you've lost your sense of humor, your brand's no longer fun. It's work, and nobody wants to work to like a celebrity.
And think about how many resources went into putting these women into space. For what? I'm disgusted, literally.
At first, it was just noise. A few memes, some viral tweets, the usual post-South Park storm. Katy's team had seen this kind of backlash before. They knew how to ride it out. But this time, something felt different. Because this wasn't just haters with burner accounts. It was people who used to be on her side. The same fans who once defended Witness and Smile Tooth and Nail were now saying things like, she should have just taken the joke. This isn't the fight we needed from her. She's dragging this too far, and it's making her look ridiculous. Comment sections flipped fast. Stan pages went quiet. Some even started reposting old interviews, editing them next to South, Park clips to show just how accurate the parody really was. And when your own fanbase turns into your fact checkers, that's when the damage gets deep. Katy hadn't just lost control of the story, she was losing control of her people, the ones who built her, supported her, stuck by her during the darker eras. And in pop culture, when the fandom walks away, you're on your own.
Right, gladiator tie on. Look at that. My back would have been shattered. You see it? How sick is that? Right? Just like motivating.
Once the internet starts dragging a celebrity, the media isn't far behind. What started with cheeky headlines like South Park blasts Katy Perry into orbit quickly morphed into full-on critiques. Think pieces flooded the timeline. News. Anchors made snarky references to the lawsuit on air. Even entertainment podcasts, the ones that usually fawned over her fashion or defended her pop legacy, started calling her out for being out of touch, overly sensitive, and weirdly obsessed with controlling the narrative. It wasn't just mockery anymore, it was dismissal, and that's a death sentence in the press. When they stop laughing with you or at you and instead just stop covering you like you matter. Katy's public image, which she'd spent years rebuilding after multiple flop-era accusations, was back on shaky ground, not because of a bad album, not because of a scandal, but because she sued a cartoon. It raises the question, In a world where every celebrity moment is internet tested in real time, how much power do you actually have over your legacy anymore? If you were Katy, would you keep defending your personal values, even if the whole media landscape was clowning you for it? Or would you retreat, regroup, and rebrand? I want to hear your take, because this moment could break anyone. You'd think a Grammy-winning, decade-dominating, multi-platinum selling artist like Katy Perry would be immune to one controversy, right? But in the modern industry, it's not about your resume, it's about your momentum. And the second that starts cracking, people notice. Insiders say several partnerships were already under pressure by the time the lawsuit made headlines. A major fashion collab was paused with no follow-up. Talks of a docu-style series about Katy's Blue Origin flight were allegedly shelved by a top streaming platform due to the ongoing public dispute. There were even rumors that a guest performance spot for a major award show was reassigned to another artist. Not because Katy wasn't available, but because she was too much drama right now. No angry emails, no big blowouts, just doors quietly closing. Because the industry doesn't cancel you with press releases. They do it with silence. They stop booking you. They stop mentioning you. They move on fast and act like you never had a seat at the table to begin with. Behind closed doors, things weren't much better. Multiple sources say that within Katy's own camp, the energy had shifted. At first, her team was all in. Lawyers, publicists, brand managers, all hands on deck. But as the backlash grew, so did the tension. One insider claimed that several team members questioned why the lawsuit wasn't pulled earlier. That it was a PR misread from the start, that the team underestimated just how unforgiving the internet could be when it came to rich pop star can't take a joke energy. Some tried to scale back her social media presence, others wanted her to issue a humble clarification, a soft non-apology that could cool things off. But reportedly, Katy wasn't interested in soft. She was hurt, and she was standing her ground, which, to be fair, makes her human. But in this business, being human doesn't always sell. And when internal loyalty starts to crack, what's left? A woman trying to hold on to her dignity while the machine she built starts folding in on itself. Every internet storm has that one moment, the meme, the soundbite, the viral clip that shifts the tone from "we're laughing with you" to "we're over it." For Katy, it was a TikTok clip. Someone took a tearful quote from one of her post-spaceflight interviews. "I saw Earth from a distance, and I felt something I can't explain," and stitched it next to the South Park parody of her floating in a spacesuit, crying into a camera labeled "I'm still relevant." It got 10 million views in 24 hours. It ended up in multiple reaction videos. It trended globally with the caption, "This did more damage than the actual episode." And just like that, her emotions, her real, genuine human response to something that changed her life, became the punchline. Once the internet decides your sincerity is cringe, there's almost no coming back. The memes have stopped trending. The headlines are moving on. Even South Park's writers have fallen silent. No second parody, no follow-up jab. Just nothing, but that silence, it's louder than any punchline. Because when the internet stops laughing, it doesn't mean it forgives you. It means it's over you. And for a pop icon like Katy Perry, someone who once commanded stages, headlines, entire generations, that's more terrifying than any roast. She's not the joke anymore. She's just forgotten. And in celebrity culture, there is no fate worse than irrelevance. Katy isn't being dragged anymore. She's being phased out. Sources close to her say the conversations have already started, not about her next album, not about her comeback tour, but about what happens if there is no comeback at all. Managers are shifting their focus to newer clients. PR reps are reprioritizing. Her long-term brand partners are quietly adjusting their contracts. No penalties, no drama, just distance. And that's how Hollywood works. It doesn't fire you. It just lets you drift into obscurity, hoping. You do it quietly. What stings the most? Some of these people were there at her peak. The roar of Roar, the glitter of California Girls, the emotional highs of Unconditionally. They helped build the empire, and now they're slipping away like nothing ever happened. Now, Katy Perry has a decision to make. Not a legal one, not a PR spin, a personal one. Does she fight back? Drop a new album? Go raw? Strip everything down? No costumes, no concepts, just her voice, her truth, and her reality. Start fresh. Not as a pop queen in a rocket ship, but as a woman who's been through it and came back stronger. Or does she disappear? Pull back. Live quietly? Raise her family? Let time do the healing. Let people forget the noise so that maybe one day she can come back when they're ready to hear her again. Not as a meme, but as music. Neither option is easy. Both come with risk. But one thing's clear. The middle ground, the polished, PR-safe, try to please everyone approach, isn't working anymore. If you were Katy's closest friend right now, what would you tell her to do? Reinvent and go raw, or go silent and come back stronger later? Drop your advice in the comments. I need to know what you do at rock bottom. That's the thing no one wants to admit. Katy Perry isn't hated. She's just mistrusted. People feel like they don't know who she is anymore. She was the campy queen, then the activist, then the mom, then the astronaut. She tried to be everything at once. And in the process, some fans feel like she became nothing at all. This legal drama didn't destroy her. It just exposed the gap between who Katy wants to be and who the public sees. Rebuilding that kind of trust isn't about music. It's about vulnerability. Showing up messy, scared, uncertain, and letting the world watch you figure it out. If Katy's willing to be real, the comeback is possible. But if she clings to perfection, control, or performance, she'll never get the audience back. Katy once dreamed of flying, and she did, literally. She left Earth. But maybe the real story isn't about a pop star going to space. Maybe it's about what happens after the launch, when the oxygen runs out, when gravity pulls you back, when you land hard and realize the world you left behind has changed, and you have to change with it. Katy Perry can still rise, but it won't be on a rocket. It'll be in the dark, where comebacks are born, not from fame, but from fire. So here's the real question for you. Is this the end of Katy Perry's story as we know it, or just the painful beginning of her next chapter? Drop your thoughts in the comments, no filter. And if you loved this breakdown, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and ring the bell, because the next Celebrity Meltdown, comeback, or cosmic crash, you already know, we'll be here to spill every drop of it. Stay watching, stay wild, and keep sipping that tea.